Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue on the book Cracking the Coding Interview. This book has a bunch of programming solutions and questions and techniques that the top companies in the world like to test on. If you're interviewing for Google or Microsoft or Facebook or Palantir or Tesla, a lot of the problems come from this book, so I highly recommend this book. Today our problem is called URLify. Again, feel free to pause the video to read through what this is asking for. But all it's saying is, if you're given an input with spaces in it, and also the length of the input. So this is a function, write a function that takes in two inputs, okay? A word with spaces in it, okay? But all the characters in the word are going to be given the number, just in case you were using like a C or C++. But to be honest, with Python, you don't need this. You don't need this number here. But with some languages like C++, where you have to declare the array size ahead of time, you're probably going to need this. But anyways, given this as an input, we're expected to return something like this. So all we're just pretty much doing is replacing the spaces in between the words with %20. I'm going to put that in bold. That's all we're doing, replacing the spaces in between the word with %20. But we're also getting rid of trailing spaces. Okay, we want to get rid. Again, like I said, this trailing spaces is just for use when you're programming in, say, C or C++ or just one of those bullshit. Nah, I'm just joking. One of those older programming languages. So yeah, without further ado, let's get our hands dirty, the way we like it. So I'm gonna call this URLify. Okay, and what we're doing is just replacing spaces with %20. It's pretty simple with Python, to be honest. But anyways, I'm gonna create my function first. I'm gonna call it URLify. Okay, and what does he take? He takes in a string, and he takes in the size of the string, the size of what we want the final string to be. Okay, the size, I'm sorry, the size 13 is just the size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's just the size without the trailing spaces. That's what the 13 is. Okay, so now we have this function. For now, I'm gonna say pass. Pass is just used in Python where when you don't have a clue what to do with the function, you just put a pass in there. So yeah, I have this function. Okay, now I want to create my driver code, and this is just a piece of code to call the function. So yeah, so we have it. So in my driver code, I just want to go ahead and initialize. I'm just gonna say s equals, my string s is gonna equal, I'm just gonna copy and paste because I'm kind of lazy, to be honest. I think I should call myself the lazy programmer. But anyways, I guess all programmers are kind of lazy. That's the whole point of trying to automate stuff. And then size is 13. We work so hard so we can be lazy. That's the story of our life. And then let's go ahead and call the function. So yeah, that's all the driving code is doing. It's calling the function. Right, we got that. Nice. So now let's go ahead and fill in the function. Okay. So what do we want to do? What we want to do is we want to look through this function, and first my advice is to get rid of the trailing spaces. Okay, we have the size here that tells us every useful character, everything behind this trailing space. So I'm just gonna do in Python, I'm just gonna say my s is just gonna be equal to s of 0, this from the first index to the last index, trailing space. I'm gonna go ahead and print s for you guys. I'm gonna print it before and after, just so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so although it looks like nothing happens, okay, in the first instance, it actually looks like nothing happens. Okay, you see the spaces in the back? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we didn't put the space in here. So typically it has the space, right? Okay, now let's try it again. In the first instance, see the space in the back, but in the second instance, there's no space. Again, to be more exact, we can print the length, just so you guys can see that we've actually stripped out those trailing. Okay, so there's 4 spaces before we strip it all out. Okay, that was pretty straightforward. Okay, now so we have our new s. So what do we want to do? We want to return s, where we replace every space in between the word with the %20 sign. Good thing Python has a handy method for this. So we're just gonna say return s.replace. Okay, what do I want to replace? I want to replace spaces with %20. It's really this easy, to be honest. I'm gonna run it right now and show you. Bam. So with Python, it was straightforward. Okay, it was straightforward. To be honest, we don't really need to step through this code, but we are gonna do that anyways. I do want to show you guys a second way of doing this. I'm gonna define a second function. I just like to copy and paste. Like I said earlier, I'm lazy. Come on, what do you expect? I'm lazy. Okay, I'm gonna call this 2, and I'm gonna call it here 2. Okay, for now I'm gonna say pass. Okay, let's run it and see. Okay, good, we're calling the right function. All right, so what do we want to do? I want to solve this using a list. Okay, I'm gonna say result. I'm just gonna say res equals an empty list. For now, we're gonna populate him as we go. Okay, now I'm gonna iterate. I'm gonna say for character in s. Okay, s of what? Okay, keep in mind here we had to get rid of the triple spaces. We're gonna do the same thing here, but I can do it in the for loop. To be honest, I don't have to iterate through it. So I'm just gonna say s of 0 to size, because we're getting size anyways. And just so you know, I'm gonna print it. Print character. I'm gonna print each of the character. Okay, Mr. John, none. You see, no space behind. However, if I take out this, you're gonna see the spaces behind. Bam, 4 or 5 spaces. Okay, I'm gonna put it back. Okay, good. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. Okay. So now we're iterating through it. So now I'm gonna use the if statement. So I'll say if my character is a space, okay, oh man, I just messed up. If my character is a space, what do I want to do? Okay, I want to replace that space with %20. So I'm just going to create a temporary variable. I'm going to call him temp, because all temporary variables are called temp. Temp equals %20. Okay, else, what if it's not a space, if it's a regular character? Else, okay, I'm just gonna say temp. Either way, we're gonna use temp. Equals character. Okay, we're done with our if else. Now to my array I created, or my list I created earlier, I now want to append. So once we're done with this if, I just want to say res.append. Python has an append function that just lets you add stuff to a list. Okay, so what do I want to append to this guy? I want to append temp. Okay, this is not our final solution. I'm just gonna go ahead and print res for you guys so you can see what he looks like. Did I do something wrong? Oh, I spelled append wrong. Yeah, I need to go back to high school or middle school or something so I can spell correctly. But anyways, so you see how each element of this word, again, we've successfully replaced spaces with %20. But however, it's not a string, it's still a list. We have to convert it to a list. Okay, this is where a handy function comes in called join. So we're gonna return, before we return, let me kind of show you what happens. So I'm gonna say final, whatever, equals, okay, I want to join. What do I want to join by? Let's start with joining by, what do I want to join by? Just for the sake of it, let's join by a smiley face. I just want to get a smiley face, just so we can have some fun. Okay, so I want to join by a smiley face. Okay, and I'm gonna print fin. So let's see what fin looks like. You see, what the join does is join takes in an array and takes in the character you want to join with and joins it together. So I guess we could have done this differently actually. So okay, so now what we don't want to join by a smiley face because we don't care about smiley faces. Okay, we want to join with nothing, no space. So now let's see what that looks like. Bam. no space. And now this is what we want to return. So again, just to save memory, there's no point creating a new variable. I can just return this directly, and bam, we have our answer. So like always on this channel, we like to step through our code just to kind of get a feel of what's going on. So I'm gonna step through this. Okay, step through it, see what's going on. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so yeah, we've gone ahead, created our global frame. Okay, declared our function, input size 13, whatever. Now function call. Okay, our function is on the scope. Okay, so what do we want to do? Empty list rest created. Okay, now we're gonna iterate through the words in here. So character right now is M. What are we gonna do with M? Okay, so we're gonna get rid of the spaces behind. So M, what do we want to do? Okay, if character is space, temp is 20. Okay, character is not space, so nothing's gonna happen. We're just gonna keep going to our first space. Okay, so you're just gonna keep saving him in temp and appending him to rest. Okay, each time he goes to this each time he goes out of this if else statement to the next line, it appends to rest. So you're just gonna see rest growing. Again, with no spaces, right? Because we said if it's space, replace him with the 20. So he's just gonna keep growing, okay, till he has all the characters. I think TH. I think now he has all the characters. Okay, so now we want to return. The green is where he just ran. The red is where he's gonna execute next. Okay, we now want to join it. Bam, we have a return value. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope it was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one.